Hello and welcome to this week's rolling lesson. So we're gonna start someplace that's common and easy, an easy place for you guys to feel with the roller, and we're gonna use this to set up and help you guys understand how versatile the roller is, and then practice some of the techniques that we will use all over the place. So when we're rolling, what we are doing is self-massaging your muscles. And so what you want to keep in mind is that your muscles are layered on top of one another. So if I take my leg, my quadricep for example, like it's called a quadricep because it has four main muscles in it. But the muscles that you see on top, those are actually not the ones that you really need to massage. It's the muscles underneath that you need to really work to get towards. And that's what you need to understand when you are rolling out your body, because with that perspective in mind, it will give you time and space and recognize that patience is a really big part of rolling. Being paying really close attention to what you are feeling and feeling yourself getting through the layers to get to the deeper muscle, that's a big part of rolling. When you're using the roller, so the setup for the hamstring, we need to find where the hamstring is, so that's our glutes, and then where the bump kind of turns into the line, that's where your hamstring is. So we'll start here just to kind of get this loose, but I'll tell you as soon as we cross over that bump, that's when we're in the hamstring. And then what we do every time we are doing a muscle, we're going to break it into three. No matter what muscle we're going to do, we're going to break it into three strips. So basically with the hamstring, we're going to go along the outside, then along the middle, then along the inside. And that's just going to make us shift our foot slightly from side to side to get to those different angles. But that's really, really important when you're rolling, that you understand. So we've already talked about you taking your time and getting through the layers, and then you're going along the strips of each muscle. So we're going to go along one strip, come back to the top, along another strip, come back to the top, along the next strip, and go back to the top. So it's a gradual process of you pushing fluid out of the muscle tissue so that it can learn to relax. So basically you can replenish the tissue with that. Okay, so I'm going to do one side at a time so you don't have to watch me roll all day long. But this is me starting on my glute meads. And I know we said we're going to do a hamstring, but this is a good way to kind of get the muscles close to the hamstring warmed up. So my setup for this is I'm literally sitting right on top of the roller. Both of my knees are bent, and my weight is in my outside hand, and I'm not vertical, I'm kind of leaned off to the side, and so it's always one limb at a time. So right now I'm trying to get just one of my butt cheeks on this roller, and so this is me on the outside of my glutes, just kind of getting ready to get to my hamstring. So if sometimes I pause and you see me just like go inside, it's because I'm actually enjoying teaching this and feeling what it's doing inside, and so I'll come back out and make sure I communicate with you guys what I'm feeling in here. But at this point in time, like, it's just basically I'm dropping my weight into the glutes, and I'm feeling for any sore spots. And so you'll notice I'm not going really fast because I don't want, I'm not a piece of meat, I'm not trying to push it out. I need to kind of feel the tissue, and I need to feel where the spots of pain are, because when I hit a spot that is painful, that's when I'm going to shift a movement. So right now I'm on my glutes and there's a sore spot right there, and so I'm going to open and close the knee. And so that changing of the pattern is how I'm going to get that pain part out. Here's me going into a circle pattern. Yeah, so we'll cover that more in detail in the lecture, how each one of those work. But this is how, and actually how long you want to stay in that area before you move to the next. Okay, I'm going to go to the hamstring now before I find too much joy in the glute med. So notice my shift, right? So now I'm rolling the roller my glutes are behind the roller, so now I'm like right in the hamstring, and you will feel that spot right away because the hamstring as a muscle is it's actually very delicate. So it really does need this type of work on a regular basis. A lot of people who complain about having tightness in their back, that's often not always tightness in their back. Sometimes it's tightness in their leg muscles pulling up on their back. So that's why this one is really, really important. I'm going to start with the center. So you can tell I'm in the center because my foot is vertical. It's not rolled out to the side. So I'm vertical in the center. I'm right in the middle of the roller. And you can see my weight, my chest is in front of the roller. And that's what's going to allow me to push and put my weight into the roller and drop it into it. Now, to be fair, this position requires a little bit of flexibility. Like, if you look at my offhand, you can see my offhand is kind of into my elbow, and my fingers are, like, I'm not asleep here. I'm actually doing some work to stretch into this. So while I'm rolling the hamstring, I'm also taking a bit of a stretch in the hamstring, which is important for the movement. So, okay, I'm going to go down the middle, and so sometimes I'm going to go from lots of weight in, and so if I need to take some weight out or if I need more range, I'm going to bring my hand back behind it, and so I'll go backward and forth between these two positions because I'm trying to maximize the amount of pressure I get into my hamstring. So the hamstring as a muscle, because it's long and stringy, what I'm trying to do is basically separate and mash the fibers so it can feel more smooth. So you can see as I drop my weight in, I'm literally making this little circle pattern. I'm kind of focused on one area, and I'm really just trying to feel those fibers separate and put lots of weight and pressure into that area. Here's a technique that can help you increase that a little bit more. So I feel like I wanted some more pressure into that. I'm going to lean back and take my other leg across and try to push that into the middle. And so the rolling is like 2 inches forward and then 1 inch backwards. 2 inches forwards and then 1 inch backwards. So this is the top third of the muscle. So now as I work towards the middle third of the muscle, it's not going to feel as loose as the other one does. So now I've got to do my cross pattern again, and this crossing pattern is going to help me get the fluid out of that area and move it back to the next spot. Cross pattern and circle, cross pattern and circle. And then I'll go shift. So this is me just taking a break, and sometimes you're going to feel like you hit something that's really, really sore, and the key is that I want you to have a continuous pressure onto the hamstring. So even though right now it looks like I'm not doing anything, like the fact that my leg is on top of my other leg and I'm pressing, there's a definite pressure that's happening. And so rolling and stretching are connected and kind of similar in that the action can happen on the inside and out. So when I move on the outside over here, this is the action happening on the outside, and you can tell that my actions are stimulating the muscle fibers and helping the tissues to move. Okay, so that's action on the outside, and that's obvious. That's what we call exercise. That's what this movement is about. Now on the inside, so here's me, I'm going to hit a spot that's really kind of painful, and your reaction to the pain is going to be some type of tightening up. Okay, and so this is where we take the breathing practice that we've been working on and we bring it into our movements. So a simple way to kind of get through that pain would be to practice your inhaling. Your inhaling we're working on. So I'm going to hit a spot and I would go. So you're allowing the pressure to leave you by breathing through it. And those two combination of actions right there, the outside muscle, you taking your time and you using your breath to come through the rep, that's going to make a really big difference in how you increase your flexibility. So I just did the middle one. I'm going to go back up, and then the last minute of this video show how I'm going to get the outside of the hamstring. So there's a difference between the outside of the leg and the outside of the hamstring. And so I'm not going to go sideways outside of the leg. I'm going outside of the hamstring. And so this one will require me to lean back a lot to kind of make room for that outside of the hamstring. But that's that different angle on it, and using your breath in a different way. That's what's really going to help. And so all in all, I think the actual time for me rolling on this leg was around 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, and that's just one hamstring. So what you would do is you would switch to the other side and do that same action on the opposite hamstring. They won't ever feel the same, but what you're trying to do is learn from each side of your body, learn what the muscles feel like on the inside, learn where your trigger points are and how to breathe through them. And that's going to be a really important step for you guys to get good at rolling. All right, so we'll see you guys next week on the next rolling video.